ethos of Ode was no compromise on values, on ethics, on sustainability, on flavor, on taste, look and feel, everything, I mean, values overall as a business. We wanted to source better. We want to obviously over time reduce plastic. These small things make a big impact. I was looking for a head chef. I couldn't find a single woman. Or I found women who were senior chefs and then they dropped out to either take care of family or they had some other obligation. And I wanted to build a business that also gave women opportunities to grow in the hospitality and F&B space without other challenges that they face. Like I've heard so many horror stories of women being mistreated, harassed and abused, and you can't go home late, they can't stay overnight in the hotel night shifts.
You started with 0 employees. Yeah. Today you have
21 to 22.
Oh my god, a success story right there. Like, I hope you take a step back and you actually let the sun shine on you a bit.
I have to do that. Sometimes I need to really realize that I am living 2020 Naimita's dream. Now, whatever we're doing, all the challenges we're facing, we're like, okay, I want this to stop. How do I fix this? But these are the challenges you wished for. I wanted a bigger team. I wanted larger orders, a bigger kitchen. I wanted all of these things. And now that I've got them, my first thought is, okay, what next?
Hi everybody and welcome to Sephra's Green and Greener show, where we learn simpler ways to leading a more sustainable life. I am your host, Sephra Abraham, also the founder of Green India, a one-stop vegan shop. Today, I have a very special guest. I am joined by none other than Naimita, who is the founder of one of my faves, and Ode to Gaia. Hi Naimita, how are you doing?
Hi Sephra, thank you so much for having me. Hi everyone, that was a really sweet introduction. Thank you. I'm doing really great. What about you?
Amazing. Now that you're here and I'm getting to interview you, I'm so happy.
It finally happened.
I know. I can't believe it's taken us like 3 years to meet. It's crazy. Like I feel like I know you because we've... Yeah. Today's episode is all about you. Okay. So without further ado, let's get into it. And my first question to you is, do plants feel pain?
I did not expect that.
I know. That was the first thing we came up in our script. Like, we have to start with something so ridiculous.
It was really funny. Do plants feel pain? If you think that, then I think you should go back to school because plants don't feel pain. Or maybe they do and we just can't hear them.
Heavy. I love that answer. But okay, now that we've, done the upar ka nonsense, let's get into it. I want to know about Naimita, okay? Who is she? Who is this mysterious, amazing founder who is, doing so many cool things all at once? We want to know about you before getting into your journey with an Ode to Gaia.
Wow, that's a pretty loaded question. Who am I? Wow, okay. I need to be stoned for this. I started the basics. I was 27, I was going to be 28. I am essentially, I don't even know what to say. I'm an entrepreneur. I have started a business without having any experience in business or patisserie. I kind of stumbled into this career. And outside of work, I'm just someone who really loves life and I want to be able to live my best life in whatever I do. And I try to, I'm also pretty freaking extra.
Yeah, go for it, dude. Do abuse. Go for it. You already said you wanted to be stoned. I mean, I don't see how abusing is very far further from this, but yeah.
So to just go back to that, I'm pretty fucking extra and I want to be like that. I think life is too short to be basic. It's too short to live within the confines of what people expect you to be like, or people expect a woman to be like, or an entrepreneur, or a chef, or whatever. I feel like I don't fit into any of those boxes because I kind of stumbled into this career. I never planned for it. So I would like to also live life like that without, knowing what I'm about to do. Even though I am a bit of a planner, I still like to be pretty spontaneous and I don't know what's happening next in terms of, work or my life. And in some ways it's kind of freeing and I really enjoy that. However, coming to work, there are some structures and plans that I have been finally working on. Yeah. One of them is finally opening an outlet.
Woohoo!
On me, so now the work has officially started to get there.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's not much else about me. I'm a pastry chef. I've started dabbling in food and cooking, which I wasn't very good at, but now I am. I've really been enjoying, being out there more. I spent many years, hiding away from the forefront of everything I was doing. My Instagram profile was private. I was very behind the scenes, but now I'm really enjoying not being behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to be a little basic, I do enjoy the occasional travel, shopping, makeup, all of that.
How sweet. Please tell me you have more to add because I could just listen to this. It was such I'm not joking. You answered it so well. I was thinking in my mind, like, if someone asked me that, I would have a one-liner. I don't know. Next question.
I'm just trying to think of whatever I like and tell you. I think that's who I am. Obviously, I'm a cat mom. Everybody knows that.
Tofu.
Who is more famous than I am?
Okay. Before I ask, I have so many questions about you. But before that, I love the name Tofu. Why Tofu?
My tofu. I get that all the time because one, tofu, the soy-based
Product.
is soft and delicious, and it's yummy. Tofu is yum. It's comforting if you know how to cook it right. And when I adopted my cat Tofu, I saw a picture of her in this Ahimsa business crew, and someone said that I found this cat living in the gutter, and I saw this picture of her, and I was like, oh my god, I need this cat. The picture just spoke to me. And there were two names, Cleopatra.
Oh,
Yes, I know. Whoever hears this, please take the name. It's so cute.
it's so sweet. I love it. Oh my gosh.
Or tofu scramble. And when I looked at her face, she was a bad bitch like Cleopatra. She was a soft and yummy little cushion.
So cute.
She's just a giant pillow, and so is the product tofu.
Yeah.
So I felt the name was quite befitting.
Wow, man. Like, you've put like that's a good amount of thought into your pet's name. I love it. I accept it. Okay. Now back to you. Okay. So I want to know, I know you said that you had no experience in business, neither in a patisserie before you opened one. So why don't you tell us, what did you do in college? What was, an 18-year-old Naimita up to?
Oh, you don't want to know. So I studied in the UK. I studied Footwear Design and Development, and I was dabbling in a bit of accessories and jewelry as well. I really enjoy working with my hands and creating something like sculpture, design, like a physical piece. I really enjoy that because no piece is the same.
Yeah.
When you're hand making something. I was very keen to get into something like material art, like jewelry or sculpture, or even ceramics and clay. But then my dad and all of them were like, how you want to make money, are you going to be a auto? You know how it is, right? So like my older cousin brother, he wanted to become a pastry chef. He wanted to become a chef. And my grandmom and was like, oh, so you're going to be a cook. And then that dream just died for him when he was a kid. And now after like 20 years, he's living that dream.
Yeah.
So, when parents say those things, it kind of hurts. But I decided not to choose that career path, obviously. And I focused on footwear design because obviously there's scope in shoes.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be like a completely vegan footwear line or footwear brand, doing things differently. That's also another thing about me, that I really feel like whatever I do should be impactful for the greater good, not just for myself. Because, you can make money, but you can't. What's your legacy then? What have you actually done that's making you proud or making you feel like, hey, look at what I've done?
Yeah.
My parents excitedly show pictures and videos of my work or any articles or whatever of me or my sister to other family members. I feel like if I was just doing something basic, then
Would they?
what are they gonna show? They close the stock market with Shankia. Like, where's the fun in that?
I love the comparison to the stock market.
Yeah, I'm boring. I tried very hard to understand it. I just can't. So no offense to anyone in it. So I really wanted to do something fun, creative, where even the sky is not a limit.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed the footwear space, I love fashion. I love, quirky shoes, things that are a little different and make you stand out and make people say, oh my God, what are you wearing?
Yeah.
And to be able to make those kinds of shoes for yourself was a great, exciting idea. So I studied that. I got bored halfway through. And then I decided I was working there as a merchandiser.
This was in London?
London, yes.
Okay.
I was working in London as a merchandiser. It was there for a few weeks. It was just the most boring job in the world. And there's no creative freedom. I felt like, I was purchasing for brands like Bershka and things like that, and designing for them. And I could see the amount of plastic and waste in that industry. And I was like, okay, I don't know if this is my calling.
Yeah.
So I decided to move back to India.
So when was this, like approximately?
2000. I graduated in 2016.
Okay.
And 17, I decided to move back. So for a year, I was there. I did about 3-4 months. I was backpacking around Europe and just like living in like some island for like 2-3 weeks, not doing anything, just cooking same pasta every day, swimming, smoking. That's it. Drinking, just chilling. I studied for 4 years. I just needed that break before coming back to India, and I did want to explore Europe, because once you move back, now you're not going to go back here, some small island in the middle of nowhere. So it's much easier to travel from the UK. And it was very exciting to see these local island shops and these local designers and artisans, the kind of materials they use, how creative they are. It really opened up my eyes to there's so much beyond your leather and your vegan material, which is just plastic. So when I moved back to India, there's a brand called Pinatex that makes material out of pineapple leather.
Oh wow.
And it's very cool, very durable and sustainable. And I think they were just founded when I was in university. So they had come to our school, done a couple of demos. We had seen shoes actually being made, wallets, things like that. So when I moved back to India, I decided to start a men's footwear line.
Okay.
I wanted to eventually move into women's, but men's was like more, men need us, like they need some help, like serious help with their fashion. So I felt like, marrying sustainable fashion or footwear in this case and luxury fashion would have been a really good idea.
Yeah.
But I think the idea was too premature for India. Men wearing shoes made out of pineapple leather in India, which is such a one, price conscious, 2, they don't care about sustainability, and 3, they're so brand conscious, especially when they're spending so much money.
Yeah.
Because pineapple leather was very new. So to get cactus leather, pineapple leather, mushroom leather, and get all of these sustainable, cork and things like that, and use those in your shoes and train your artisans and your karigars on how to make it without waste.
Yeah.
It was just a lot, and I was very excited to do it. I found the factories. I even went to China to source the materials and factories and all of that when I eventually decided to make it in India.
Yeah.
I realized that I could do a great job, but the receiver is not going to be able to receive it the way I want them to.
Right.
And I just didn't think India was ready at the time. Simultaneously, I was, I moved to India. I was very lactose intolerant. I mean, I still am. And I was making cheesecakes. I was baking. I had just newly turned, vegan a year or 2 before that.
Okay.
And there was nothing in India. There was no break of dawn milk. There was no, there was nothing. There was no sauce for cheese, nothing. So I was making all of that myself.
Wow.
Nobody knows this, but Ode to Gaia started with almond milk.
Oh.
Cheese. Yes. And God, I had some brains back then, because logistics for fresh almond milk and cheese is an absolute nightmare. And back then I was like, yes, do this. I am not sitting and becoming a dulwala, sending cheese. I don't know how, but
Shout out to, I was just going to say that.
She is a badass boss. I was just 21 or 22, and I was like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to sit and milk the almonds. Milk the almonds early morning, store the milk in my fridge, and then deliver it without it splitting. And it was a lot, and it was difficult to make chai and stuff out of all of those.
Correct. So you're a chai lover.
I'm not chai. I am chai over coffee.
Yeah, you should have told me. I would have arranged some vegan chai for you. Damn.
After 5 o'clock, I can't have chai. Then I won't sleep.
Shit, that's a similarity.
Yeah. But I mean, I am having great tea. Yeah. So I experimented with dairy alternatives first, and that gave me the platform to say, okay, if I can make milk, if I can make cheese, why not make a cream cheese, which is neutral in taste. I used to make a smoked Gouda. I used to make smoked cream cheese. I used to make fondue with wine and everything. So I was very much into making authentic dairy alternatives into dairy-free versions. That excited me. The challenge of doing what's not been done.
Yeah.
And then I started, experimenting with cheesecakes. I started experimenting with creme brulees and panna cottas and things that are egg heavy and dairy heavy. And that I also had no friends as a vegan, because my parents were like, get out of the house. My sister was like, don't talk to me about anything. And all I could talk about was me.
Yeah.
And you know how in the beginning how it is, right? You're so passionate about that, and then life hits you and you're like, what the hell was I thinking? So I was so passionate about, this new thing that I had just discovered. So when I started making all these alternative ingredients and alternative products like cheesecake and whatnot, I started going to all these potlucks and taking my cheesecakes and my desserts. And it was just so other people could experience them. I had no intention of selling any of it. And then randomly someone would be like, oh my God, I haven't had cheesecake in 7 years. I haven't had cheesecake in 20 years. I had that dairy. Where did you get this from? Who makes it? I'm like, I just made this at home. Like, I don't know if it's good. I was so embarrassed of what I was making because I thought it wasn't like good enough. I mean, that's the imposter syndrome that I guess all women have at some point. And then people were like, can you make my wedding cake? Can you do my birthday cake? And I was like, no, I don't know how to do all of that. And there was so many requests for cakes and brownies and cookies and cupcakes. So I started saying, okay, let me try and make one. So then I started studying recipes, and then I started making my own.
Okay.
And I started experimenting with buttercream and what can I replace butter with? How do I make a creamy, soft cheesecake? How can I make a tart, ganache, tabla? And I would study the actual, I would watch YouTube videos and learn how chefs were actually making these products, what was the science behind it, and then how I could replicate that in a vegan way or a dairy-free or egg-free way. And that was, it was super exciting to be able to give people who haven't consumed these products for so many years or months or decades sometimes. It was so fun to be able to, it was so fulfilling to be able to give them something like that, to see the look on someone's face and they're like, I haven't had a cheesecake in 7 years. And now they're able to eat it every day or every week.
Yeah.
It was just a beautiful feeling of, just pure joy that you're getting to do this for somebody, And people were like, you should start a business. And my parents were like, running the house, you're just baking so much. There was no space to dining table. It was covered with packaging material. I used to sit behind my cook's bike. And he was not cooking anything for the house. He was helping me with all my desserts. Sometimes we would go to events together till 2 in the morning. We used to sit and bake, and then he would wake up in the morning, make tea for everyone, and then we would start baking again.
Yeah.
So he also became a chef. He was earning a bit from Gaia as well.
So when was this?
This was all in 2018 at Gaia. And then I realized that okay, maybe I should perfect the skill a bit more, but improve it a bit more.
Yeah.
And if I wanted to start something, that I needed some experience. So I started exploring pastry schools. But there were none that were 100% vegan. There were 1 or 2 in Spain, Italy, and France, but they were all in the local languages. So I was like, okay, my 4 or 5 years of French is not going to cut it. It's too rusty now.
Yeah.
So I started taking some online courses. I was making stuff that tasted better. So I was like, okay, this is not working. Let me now go. I decided to go abroad.
Okay.
So I went to a couple of I just cold emailed and cold called a bunch of patisseries across the world, from Australia to Singapore to a bunch in the US, in Canada, in London, all vegan ones. And I was like, will you take me as unpaid labor, please?
Okay.
And a few replied. None in Australia. I was really hoping I could go there. And my aunt lived there, so I lived in their house, and I would go every morning, 5 a.m. shift. I would work in the bakery, opening, chai, pocha, everything. And I used to also help them in the hot kitchen because, I was technically an intern. They could do whatever they wanted with me. So I was like chopping like,
So wait, where was
this
this?
was in Toronto.
In Toronto.
I was chopping like buckets of onion, buckets of I used to make like 2,000-3,000 French fries every day.
Oh my
But I was also making dessert. I made a lot of mistakes. But they were so kind, so patient in guiding me. And I never actually worked in a real bakery.
Correct.
It was just another level of joy to be able to do that. And except the unpaid part. But I learned a lot. I worked at a bakery that was completely vegan, gluten-free, and soy-free and corn-free, allergen-friendly.
Correct.
Yeah, it's very big abroad.
Yeah, it is much bigger than it is.
But have a lot of allergies, but they just think, oh, acidity hai. But actually you're allergic to it. Yeah, but it's very true. So I worked there, then I worked at one that was also vegan, gluten-free, refined sugar-free, soy-free, corn-free. It was like everything free, but I never tasted better products in my life. They had a cookbook. So because the owner, the founder, her daughter was allergic to a lot of things. So she had autoimmune disease, I think, and a few different disabilities that prevented her from consuming like maida, sugar, processed oil. Even the oil was refined, unrefined.
Wow.
So I purchased a book and I started making those recipes. They want the same in India because the ingredient quality is different.
Yeah.
But to know that you can make the same thing, or in fact even better, and you can make it free of all of this, made me feel that it was like a challenge, right? I already enjoyed making vegan stuff because it was against the norm.
Correct.
And this was like even against that.
Yeah.
So it was really exciting to be able to do something that's so different and so out of the box, quite literally. And I came back to India after about 3 months, and I built this small kitchen in my garage. That garage was my dad's first office when he started his business.
Okay.
So
Wow,
really nice.
Emotional.
Yeah, it was all ego and stuff. It was nice to be able to start there. And then I went to Paris for a week. I studied with this pastry chef there for 3 days, learning French pastry because I learned American pastry and this was like French. And it was only 3 days, but I learned so much. And then I came back and this was in 2020 that I went to Paris. I really wish I was stuck there.
Dude, you don't want to say that. Touch wood, oh my God.
Being stuck in Paris is better than being stuck in India, no?
I mean, you don't know. I don't know. Depends on how many people you know. And you know how strict it was? Like, you couldn't go even 1 kilometer from your house.
However, the good thing, on the bright side, I came back here. Within a week, I found Tofu, and within a week, there was a lockdown. So she came to us just before the lockdown.
Damn.
And there was nothing to do, so I had just moved into a bigger space. I had gone from like no employees to now having like 7 or 8 people.
Wow.
Having to manage that, paying salaries, not letting them go, and even they have to pay bills and whatnot. So luckily at the time the business was able to support that. I know I jumped ahead so much, but all of that happened over the years of the beginning years of Gaia. But what I also did at the same time was I started going to all of these events, pop-ups, and just getting the word out there.
Yeah.
Nobody was making cheesecake at the time, except those frozen cashew cheesecakes, which, they're a nightmare to deliver. And I was doing baked cheesecakes. So it was just fun to give people these options, not just vegans, but people who are dairy-free, people who have allergies, people who just want to be healthy and all of that. And slowly I just built the team. I started getting chefs on board. I built the page, the Instagram page, and a website, and people from all over the world started following us because we were creating something vegan that looked like a little piece of art. It didn't, number one, didn't look like a pastry. It didn't feel like you want to eat it, and two, it looked so pretty, and that I wanted people to say, there's no way that's vegan. Because at the time, veganism was so, it was associated with all your, grass and seed. I wanted to, reduce that type of thinking. I wanted people to say that, okay, I can eat something vegan and it can look this beautiful. I don't have to compromise on anything. The ethos of Ode was no compromise on values, on ethics, on sustainability, on flavor, on taste, look and feel, everything, And I mean values overall as a business, not just values like, okay, we're plant-based, but like we wanted to source better. We want to obviously over time reduce plastic. So these small things make a big impact. So yeah, I mean, I hope this inspires more patisseries to, like, my whole idea was, if I can do it with no background in pastry or baking or any hospitality or whatever, I'm able to make this just through watching YouTube videos and experimenting, then other patisseries can also, include vegan ingredients. They don't have to avoid it. And it just overall, if more people make these slightly better decisions, the impact is greater. Me being vegan alone, or my go-to guy being vegan alone, is not going to have as big an impact as maybe 1,000 patisseries having just one or two
Vegan options. Yeah, exactly.
that increases your impact. So I hope that somewhere mine and other patisseries other vegan patisseries are helping with that butterfly effect, that snowball effect, and inspiring others, because that was part of why I did what I'm doing, why I'm doing what I'm doing.
No, I'm so sure you get like a ton of DMs saying, and I do know that you also take online classes. You still do that?
I haven't had time for the last year or so, but I do teach. I really love teaching, and I would like to transition into that, not full time, but definitely much.
Like a big chunk of your...
Big chunk of my time should go now into teaching, again, because that's a higher impact.
Correct.
I would rather educate and groom 100,000 chefs to make vegan products than just be like, only I can be the vegan pastry chef in the world. I want more people to be able to make vegan products. That's my biggest dream, I would say.
That's amazing. Okay, I'm going to delve a little bit into, a couple of details I think that we missed in your journey. So the last thing I remember before is that you moved into your dad's garage, right? So take me through from that. Was 2019 or 2018?
I think 18.
18, okay. And then you said you moved into a bigger space. I'm assuming that's 2020.
In COVID, we moved from the garage to an apartment. It was an empty apartment of my aunt.
Okay.
And she was obviously stuck in lockdown in Dubai where they lived.
Okay.
And her apartment was in like where my kitchen is, and it was empty. So we just stripped it of every bed, table, cupboard, everything. And we just made it into a giant kitchen. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And cut to today. Where are you now?
Now it's been about 6 months, we've moved into our first official commercial space.
Okay.
So it's a proper commercial kitchen in an industrial estate in Jaipur. It's about, I would say, 1,800 square feet plus 800 mezzanine, something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember. And it's been great. It's sometimes I regret that decision. But
why?
Sometimes when we fall short of space, I'm like, okay, thank God we moved. Because rent, overheads, everything is double in a commercial space.
That's very true, yeah.
When your goal is to, pay your team better and to buy better ingredients, a chunk of your money is going into just maintaining this space. Paying the rent and paying the electricity is, the biggest chunk of our overheads. So I just feel like it's such a, it was just it would just increase our sales, I just work harder, which is obviously,
part and parcel of every business, yeah.
But it was just kind of overwhelming to go from the comforts of an apartment where we were also, obviously, we had overheads.
Correct.
This was like a bit more real. And scary. Like fire license, this safety, this blah blah, changing our FSSAI. All the red tape is like every day we have some BMC person coming, we have someone or the other harassing us, and they see that a woman is running the place, they like to. So there are a lot of things that come with working in a commercial space.
Right.
I had to actually, the biggest challenge was I had to start hiring guys. Because it was an all-women kitchen, an all-women team, executive team, admin team. I wanted to give women who are pushed out of the hospitality industry an opportunity to grow and thrive. And when I was looking for a head chef, I was looking for like an executive chef for my overall company, not just Autocan and other brands. I couldn't find a single woman. I couldn't find any woman who's been like a super senior executive chef, for a long time. Or I found women who were chefs, senior chefs, and then they dropped out to, either take care of family or they had some other obligation. So every senior person, F&B controller, purchase manager, every senior role was a man. And I wanted to build a business that also gave women opportunities to grow in the hospitality and F&B space without, the other challenges that they face. Like I've heard so many horror stories of, women being mistreated, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
And being, harassed and abused, and you can't go home late, they can't stay overnight in a hotel, night shifts.
Yeah.
So when I had to start night shift, and I had to hire like a delivery person and all of that. Number one, there were no women, and any of my female chefs were like, our parents are not going to let us stay beyond like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So I realized I had to hire men. And while I'm okay with hiring good talent, it was just, upsetting that there just wasn't a choice. So yeah, I mean, that was one of the biggest challenges also moving to the new place where, you're spending more time on HR activities just to look for a woman specifically, or someone from like a marginalized group who would not get an opportunity to work in the hospitality space. That was my part of my vision, to create a space like that where, those who can't work in these spaces like restaurants or whatever do get the chance.
So now, so you can sort of say that you are creating the senior positions through their work at an Ode to Gaia?
Yes, in fact, just today I had a conversation with one of my chefs saying, I envision you growing into a sous chef in the next few years, and your goal should be CDB by next year, and all of the, titles in the industry. And it made her really happy, and that I recognized that, and it made me really happy that someone from my team can grow into those senior positions. And I want to be able to create an environment where they can not just learn, but they can grow in their careers, not just with Ode to Gaia, but whatever they've learned, they can take it somewhere else as senior female chefs. That's quite fulfilling.
That is amazing that, you're not just wait, correct me if I'm wrong. Are you're a much bigger team, of course. You started with 0 employees.
Yeah.
Today you have
21 to 22.
Oh my god, a success story right there. Like from 2018 to 2023, that's just 5 years.
Yeah.
5? Yes, my math is not that bad. Okay,
2019 is when we got our first employee.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
So in 4 years, she's grown from one employee to she's grown from 1 employee to like 21. That's so impressive, but I hope you take a step back and you actually sort of let the sun shine on you a bit, because that's really commendable.
I have to do that. Sometimes I need to really realize that I am living 2020 Naimita's dream today. And I think a lot of us do this. Now whatever we're doing, all the challenges we're facing, we're like, okay, I want this to stop. How do I fix this? But these are the challenges you wished for 3 years ago. I wanted a bigger team. I wanted, larger orders, a bigger kitchen. I wanted all of these things. And now that I've got them, my first thought is, okay, what next? But actually my thought should be, of course, I'm so grateful that when I take a step back, I'm so grateful that I'm living the dream that I had 2-3 years ago. And it's funny, as children, my sister used to make chocolates, and when she was like 8-9 years old.
What do you mean make chocolates at that age? How is she?
She used to just melt morde and put it in a Mickey Mouse mold.
So cute.
And she called it a little business, and my mom taught us at the time. She like costing, she would take us to Crawford Market, she would make us negotiate. And now in hindsight, I realize the shopkeeper was laughing at us and humoring us. But we used to do that, she used to make us buy like cheaper jewelry and mark it up and buy like 10-15 rupees and sell it to like college kids. And she was teaching us business in her own fun way, using like chocolate, jewelry, things that we enjoy. And we used to joke that, we grow up and have our own cafe or our own bakery, we make chocolates. And then we grew up and we both entered different fields, we forgot about that, and now we're actually doing it, or at least I'm actually doing it. So I guess somewhere that seed was planted 2 decades ago. And my grandma was also like heavily into baking. She was one of like the best bakers in our community and family. She used to bake for all the cousins, and Gujaratis have like thousands of cousins. They used to bake for everyone.
But that's crazy. I've almost never heard of grandmothers. I mean, it's usually, oh my god, my grandmom's recipes in terms of cooking, but
She was like selling.
But no, but I very rarely get to hear that grandmom's baking. Like, that's really cool.
Yeah, she used to. So we never ate any vegetables, surprise. So she used to hide all the vegetables, zucchini and carrot and stuff, beetroot in the cakes. And I guess she made carrot cake before it was cool. And that's how we used to eat vegetables.
Oh my god, in cake format.
Yeah, literally in cake format. So I have this carrot cake recipe that used to be on my website, and I removed it because no one was buying it because it was too healthy.
Yeah.
It was made with almond flour, hazelnut flour, jawar, and grated carrots, and it was sweetened with coconut sugar and maple. So it had like unrefined coconut oil and some cold press and all of that healthy shit. It was so healthy. It was so fucking good. It was so good. And I would literally eat a slice for breakfast. So I have a collection of cakes that you can actually eat for breakfast. With oats and all of that.
You're selling them today?
I'm going to be reintroducing them and like redesigning them in a more comforting avatar.
Okay.
So I made all these healthy cakes very extra looking, flowers, all these decorations, and all without refined sugar or like maida or anything. But they just didn't feel comforting. They just felt too fancy. So when you want to eat like a comforting tea cake, you want it to look ugly. You want it to look comforting. You don't want it to look like some pretty princess.
Yeah, like more relatable.
Relatable, exactly. So I'm reimagining these desserts. I'm going to be introducing more relatable stuff. So not me, but I'll do with that.
So would you say it's a little more basic?
It's too basic. Yeah, it's too basic, but what sales.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. So oh my god, I have so many questions left. This was only part 1. Stay tuned for next week's episode where we release part 2 and we delve into who Naimita really is and how she built her brand Ode to Gaia. See you next week.